Tsukishima sat at a round table in that same cafe he met Kageyama in. His parents sat on the opposite side of him talking about how to tell the blonde the news. Of course, his father wanted to just jump right in. Immediately tell Suki. His mother thought otherwise. The two often fought over things like this. One wanted one thing, the other wanted another. They hardly agreed on normal things that one should be able to agree on. Tsukishima sighed, getting up to retrieve their coffee. He wished his parents hadn't decided to arrive so soon. It would have been way better for himself if they had waited a couple of days before coming so suddenly. He would have had more time to prepare, have a better place to talk about the news. Still, however, Tsukishima hoped he would run into Kageyama again that day. Maybe he's somewhere in here, Tsukishima thought to himself. Walking back to his parents, holding the 3 coffees, his mother and father looked up at him, grabbing their drinks. "Thank you, sweetie," his mother thanked. His father said nothing. The blonde simply smiled at his mother. Tsukishima listened as his mother caught up with him, trying to recover all the years that they haven't seen each other. It seemed like she was trying to avoid the real reason why they were there. His father remained silent the whole time as his wife talked, drinking his coffee. "Alright, fine. I suppose we could talk about the news we have for you, Kay," his mother finally said. Tsukishima looked up, staring at his parents as he waited. His mother and father looked at each other, quietly agreeing to just spit it out. "Kay, we've decided that you're going to continue and run our family business alongside me. Since you have only a few months left of this year of university, we're going to pull you out and take you back home," his father said. Tsukishima stared at them in utter shock. "What? You can't be serious," he exclaimed. "You've already put me into modeling. Isn't that enough?" His mother sighed. She knew this exact thing was going to happen. Tsukishima was angry that he was going to have to run their business while already having a modeling career. Not only that, he was going to be pulled out of the one thing that his parents let him decide upon on his own. He's been wanting to attend his current university since he was a kid, and he was ecstatic when he got in. He was about to complete his 2nd year of university. Why couldn't they wait until he fully completed his college experience? They would only have to wait another 2 years. Either way, Tsukishima wouldn't be too fond of joining their family business. He's seen how harsh his father could be to his workers. People despised the man. For goodness sake, he didn't want to be part of his problem. "Sweetheart, I know that you don't want to be part of the family business, but there's no one else to fulfill that spot." His mother softly spoke to him, resting her hand on his own. "What do you mean, there's no one else? My brother is here. Why don't you have him run the family business? He's older and has more experience," Tsukishima argued. He never understood why his father was so obsessed with having him run the business instead of his brother, Akiteru. Akiteru had gone to the business with his father and mother many times. He's even worked there for a while, wanting to be the next man in the family to run the company. If there was any chance of him getting that spot, he would jump right into it. "We don't know where he is, and you're the best option. People love you, Kay. With your modeling career, people are going to love the company more than any others around the area," his father said. Tsukishima sighed, looking anywhere but his parents. "There's no other choice," his mother added. "Yes, there is. Find Akiteru and have him run the business instead," he responded. He got up from the chair, getting a hold of his coffee. His parents called for him, not succeeding as he ignored them. Tsukishima figured it would be best if he took a walk around the park, wanting to calm himself down and get his mind off of the news his parents had. Taking tiny sips of his coffee, he pulled out his phone and earbuds, putting on some music. He listened to his favorite songs as he walked along the paths, kicking some rocks here and there. As he walked, he heard his name being called. At first, he thought it was his parents, but after listening to the voice calling him more closely, he realized it belonged to someone familiar. Turning around, he found an old friend of his from high school, Yamaguchi Tadashi. With him were a few of his other high school friends, all being in the boys' volleyball team back then. Seeing Yu Nishinoya, Runosuke Tanaka, and Shoyo Hinata. "Suki, hi, it's been a while," Yamaguchi smiled. "Yeah, has been. Didn't expect to see you here," Tsukishima responded. "I see you two are still short," he pointed out, staring at Hinata and Noya. The two scoffed. remembering how the blonde could be from many situations back in high school. We're average height. You're very tall for your age. Hinata spoke, crossing his arms. Suki shook his head, letting out a chuckle. They all agreed to walk around the park together, having nothing else to do. Noya and Tanaka made their usual jokes annoying Tsukishima like they used to. Hinata and Yamaguchi simply tried to keep the blonde from grabbing the two. They were all having a rather good time together, even Tsukishima. "Hey, Tsukishima!" He heard a familiar voice call him. He and his old friends turned around, finding a ravinette. "Kageyama. Suki, who's that?" Yamaguchi asked. "Yeah, we've never seen that guy before," Hinata pointed out. Tsukishima smiled, walking up to the ravinette. "Kageyama. Hey, didn't expect to see you here," Suki greeted. The ravinette giggled, slightly peeking over the blonde's shoulder. "Are those your friends?" Kags asked. A little happy tone lingered in his voice. "Yeah, my old friends from high school. Guys, meet a new friend of mine," Tsukishima spoke, waving them over. Hinata and Yamaguchi stared at each other, never expecting Suki to find new friends after high school. "Hello, I'm Kageyama Tobio," the ravinette smiled. The others introduced themselves, still confused as to how the two had met. "Can we hang out some other time?" Tsukishima asked the others. They all looked at each other, shrugging and agreeing. They figured Kageyama was special to the blonde. As they walked away, Tsukishima turned to look back at Kageyama, a small smile on his face. "Let's go sit down, yeah?" he suggested. "Sure." The two walked around, finding a small bench for two. It had a nice and beautiful view, many trees, and really just amazing scenery. As they talked, the news that his parents gave him came rolling into their conversation. "What? Your dad is basically going to force you to run their business, even though you don't want to, is what I'm getting from this," Kageyama said. "Yep. But my brother Akiteru, he's the one who actually wants to run it. He's got an experience and even worked there. It's been his dream to run the company with my father. And I already have my modeling career. It wouldn't be possible," Tsukishima said. Kageyama leaned back into the bench. "Damn, props to you for getting out of there," Kag said. Suki chuckled, throwing his arm onto the bench's headboard, almost wrapping his arm around the ravinette's shoulder. "He basically did. Do you at least know how long they're going to stay here?" "No. I don't know. But maybe if I get Akiteru to talk with my father, they'll change their mind and have him run the business instead," Tsukishima said. Kageyama nodded frantically, a big smile on his face. The blonde grew red, adoring how excited the other had gotten. "You should. Maybe I could help, if you'd like," Kags softly spoke. Tsukishima stared at those blue eyes, a small smile forming. "What? Nothing. I'd be glad to have your help," the blonde responded. Kageyama giggled, giving him a small nod. Kageyama did want to help the blonde in any way possible, not wanting the man to do things he didn't want. Fulfill his father's wishes, dreams. That's why he suggested the help. However, there was another reason. Kags just wanted to spend more time with Tsukishima, get closer, get to know him more, become real friends. For now, they were simply strangers to each other who happened to run into each other and have good times and conversations with each other. They were lost causes, for sure, loving each other, but not admitting it to themselves. Who knows if they would ever become more than strangers? Maybe, even more than friends. However, that was only what Kageyama dreamed of. To be continued.